Right on. Got my cigarette. I got another cigarette too, ready to go, because this one's not going to last long. Menthol, right? So, I'm going to talk about like merch shirts, you know. If I was to get into merch shirts, people couldn't afford them, you know. You couldn't afford my t-shirts and sweatshirts and stuff like that, because it would cost me a massive amount to even have them done. Because I'm not a cheapo tight ass that would say the cheapest ass shirt you could get with the bare minimum of regular font letters and try to pawn that off to everybody, you know. So, cause I left a comment to a comedian. I do check some of them out here and there just to see what they say, right? Because they show up on my feed. I just watch what's on my feed. I just click. I don't even, you know, I have a couple I check out, but I can remember who they are. I don't comment on the same computer or box that I watch, right? Because everybody, side note, if you have your subscriptions and all this cool stuff, you never get the real thing, right? So if you have a different box, right? Like just a different box, and you have a search and you do a search on something and just separate box than the one that you're using, right, for subscriptions and all this stuff, getting your dinner bell ring and all this cool stuff. When you got I gotta go, you know, right? But if you get to know who's working with who, what wolves are in that wolf pack. Get the fuck out of here, right? Then you know who's working with who. That's crazy, isn't it? Yeah. Instead of just waiting to get yours and ignoring everybody else, you get to see a bigger picture, right? Back to the t-shirts, right? So I left a comment for somebody as a t-shirt logo, you know, because I'm different, but my t-shirts have to be different. There wouldn't just be one logo for everybody. It wouldn't work, right? Like for this t-shirt, a lot of people might get it, you won't, right? So I would have a t-shirt that would say, for the man who wants to blow his whole wad, come in the front, right? Tight asses and shitty tippers go around back, right? And on the back of the t-shirt, you would have a little, you know how the restaurants have that cursive logo that says, we're sorry for the inconvenience type stuff. And say, we're sorry, but we no longer provide ATM service. You might not get that. You might not, right? But because a guy wouldn't wear a shirt like that. Oh, they could, like the LGBTQ community, see? So I'd have to have a different t-shirt for them, which would say, for the man who wants to blow his whole wad, come up here. And then the same tight asses and shitty tippers go to the back. Or table in the back. And still say, we do not provide a ATM service. Right? You can figure that out or not. Right? Right on. But that would cost a lot of money just to make the shirt, because I would have the no head on the waitress type thing. Big old knockers out here with their little skirty thing. Waitress. Right? So, but it would cost a lot of money just to make the t-shirt. I have to charge $2,000 just to get right? So like for the T's in the LGBTQ, that's what they've taken everybody's letters, you know, and assigning everybody a letter, you know. We're going to have to go back to the 3-letter thing. You know, I just have one letter, you know, everybody's putting everybody in 1-letter box. Not a 1-letter box. That was a private joke. You missed that one, just flew right through. I kept it. Right? But for like LGBTQ, right? Because in this last thing, these guys come out with the Q movement. We're going to take the Q's. We're taking the letter. Right? So here you got this other guy, this T. He's taking a letter too. The T man. Take the letter. What? You can't do that. Right? Because now he's a T man. A trans man. Right? Got a trans man. But when people start calling him that, he'd be pissed off. Well, he's made up orange and all cool, putting on makeup all the time. Trans man. Right? But he doesn't have man at the end of that name. Doesn't say T-M-A-N. Says something else. Right? Sure does. Says T-R-U-M-P. You know that? If a man runs, you know, wins an election, whatever. But when an R-U-M-P runs, leaves a brown streak 2 inches wide all across the carpet. It sure does. And you wonder why the fuck you got a shitstorm going on. Right? What the fuck is the shitstorm? I wonder why. Right? That's just a joke. Just a joke. Right? Right? Just a joke, folks. Because the B is out there on the other side. You can play that, get all southern drawl. Biden? What the hell is that? He buyed in? Is he buy now? I don't know. Is he buy now? He say he buy in. We can go that whole route too. I'm an equal opportunity bastard. Right? There goes my B out of the LBGTQ. Right? Right? They're stealing all the letters. So I say I'm a more than one letter, see? Because that's what you got when they say trans. What do you mean by that? Well, you're transgender. No, I'm not. You say, why don't you just cut your dick off? Because I like my dick, man. Especially for, you know, female. Got her by the, you know. Cool. See, that's why I say when people misgender you, you can't keep putting wrong letters on people. Well, you're dressing up in women's clothes. Yeah, that's CD. CD. Right? Or TV. That's different. You can't put all the T's in one box. Right? That's fucking pissing people off. Which brings up the whole psychology thing, man. Well, why do you think you're a girl? Say, no, not really. Goes back to the marijuana thing, remember? Because I like to. Well, what's the matter? Why do you smoke marijuana and self-medicate? I don't. I just like smoking weed all the time, you know. Not all the time, but when I want to. Not from sun up to sundown, but if I want to smoke a little herb before I go to bed and get a nice thing going on, well, you can't do that. There's something wrong with you. We got to get to the bottom of it. We'd rather have this other medication that I'm prescribing as a psychologist, whatever. What? I just smoke a little weed. Right? Because I like to. Because there's anything wrong with me. Same thing with being CD. Well, why would you dress in women's clothes? There's got to be a deep one. Because I like to, and because I can. You know? Get out with a girl on the dance floor as a girl, get out into it like a couple of lesbians on the dance floor. Oh, just having fun, getting some fun. Can't do that. Sure I can. You can't do that. Not passable. Pretty fucking look stupid with a 15-foot fucking shoe out there. They don't even make shoes that big. But I wear a size 8 and a lady, so works good for me. Give it all this stuff. Have a blast. And other guys are out there doing it, and it pisses people off. Because why? You're going to mess up my chances of getting to heaven. I really think it is. Well, it's cool. But because of that, you can't put people in one box. But they try to. They just can't. I don't take that shit from anybody. Which in that's where it goes too far, right? You can't do that. They say, well, you can't inflict it on me. Just you got to stay in your own house. You don't stay in your own house. It's different. It's no different. PDAs are PDAs, you know. Right. So, yeah. If I was to get right out of hand here, I'd say, men should be able to wear tights out there, because, you know, women out there, and people say, well, you got that camel toe in the front or whatever. Well, then you're all wrapped up on pussy or whatever. So that's cool. But if a man wears tights out there and starts showing his frog eye or his fucking snake down there, women say, oh, you can't do that. I say, what's the problem? What's the difference between camel toe and frog eye or black mambo or whatever you want to call it? Well, you can't, it's just, no different. Nah. Right? That's what people are, right, fuck that shit, man. Because they can. That's in your brain that's fucked up. Right? Which goes over here because I'm watching some other comedian he's all like Playboy Mansion left. That's what I'll call him. You got these guys who are Playboy Mansion left, right? Because what's the matter with the left? It's got all tranned up and everything. Well, I'm not changing, it's the left. Yeah, because people change. You know. But he's like Playboy Hugh Hefner left, which is no different than the Playboy Mansion right. It's the same group. Celebrity-wise. They don't give a fuck who gets in office. They still get their tax breaks, which is what they're worried about, because if the woke regular folks get in there, well, they can start yanking tax shelters out like a motherfucker. Can't we? Yeah. And then they have to actually pay their fair share in taxes, where they don't have all these umbrella 501c3, 501c4s, and churches of perpetual exemptionness to do whatever they do. They got to be just like the Whopper Popper and pay that full amount. Oh. Unless, of course, you're actually doing something with the actual money that you claim to do philanthropic work with. Then you get extra taxes off, you know. Maybe 1.5 times. You spend $1 million doing philanthropy, actual spend the money, then we give you $1.5 million off. But if you're just giving your money to another charitable organization, and he gives his money to this charitable organization, and he gives his money to this charitable organization, and you really don't do anything with it, fuck you, sir. Fuck you people. You're doing nothing. It's the shelter. The shell game, the 3-card shell game. And as people in voting get up in there, we can kick them out. Yeah, because that's who runs that thing. We're no longer allowing that. Because we know that this whole God game is bullshit. No matter which way it is. But philanthropy is a pretty cool thing, and you got to give them incentives, but you got to show the receipts, not to just give it to some other organization. You have to actually go out and do the work. Like, you can't go giving your crowns to other people and swap crowns. You actually got to go out and do the work. And like these people that go out there, these celebrities, go out and do their thing and say, well, I'm worth $80,000 an hour, and I'll just write that off on my taxes. No, that's just volunteer, just like anybody else. It's what you do. Oh, they're scared about that, folks. That's why they're scared. These guys up here in the celebrity realm, right? Which makes one wonder if this is what this whole fucking lockdown was about, because they're forced. You forced me to work from home, and now I have to be able to take my home off as a tax write-off. Free taxes all around. Well, us whopper floppers and truck drivers and all these motherfuckers like, woke, the woke. That's why they call it, they're trying to make it look like we're stupid. Yeah, we might be totally uneducated or whatever you want to call it, but not so bad that we can't function and go in here and say, yeah, fuck you dudes. We're not going to be bought off by a bunch of fuckers. Right? I don't know. That's frightening. Right? But back to this, like, this Peterson dude, right? And all these other psychologists, whatever. He's just the top dog everybody talk about. It's just my opinion. He's running for Parliament. He's the Canadian T-Man. Right? And he's picking up that B-I-B-L-E just for the same reason that the T-R-U-M-P dude did. Oh, I need your support. Right? But for like marijuana, remember? Because their argument, and I'll go with, if you want to play the argument and play that, then I'll ask you a question in return. Because the argument is, oh, would you like your brain surgeon to be high on marijuana? No. But if you don't mind, if I'm going to have to be the guy that goes in on brain surgery, I should be able to take a cup with me right now, before I go in, and say, hey, drop, motherfucker, because I want to make sure. That would be a frightening thought for all these bastards in the medical position. And it's going to pick up more than that. It's going to pick up all the ones all that the regular folks have to do, right? And it's not like you can just do whatever, because I got to see it. You got to whip your dick out or squat while I can, because that's what they do to us, right? And drop. I got to see the pee come out of the dick or pussy and hit the cup, and then I'm going to wait and see if anything happens. And if it does, yeah, I'm not going to be working for or going under any knife on you. For any doctor. That's a frightening thought, isn't it? But within that same argument, because he says he loves this whole IQ stuff, because if you got a low IQ, why, we're going to put you down in this job, and if you got a little bit higher IQ, we can put you up in this level education, and this level, and this level, and this level, right? So, up here in the brain surgeon category, I hope he's not smoking weed, but I should be able to make him drop, right? But for Jordan Peterson, what's the harm? Because you got to have us out there. They got, pick a piece of paper up and put it in the bag. Pick a piece of paper up. What's the harm of that guy? Not why it's on, not that he can't do that while he's fucking high. But after he gets home, smoke it up. Well, we can't do that, because if we pee in a cup in 45 days, oh, you're going to lose your job. That's hilarious, right? But somebody has to do these things. There's no harm in that. Oh, yes, there is, because we got to have you coming in here, because as soon as we do get that 45 days, then you got to go see some schmuck. Not a schmuck, but these guys who have government programs paid by the government to say, why do you have to self-medicate? And since we took that out in a lot of places, all these people who say, get these government-granted funds to do that, now they got to go out and actually find a client. What's the next best thing? Cross-dressers and gays and lesbians. And why do you have to feel the need to do? Can't you be a normal person? I am normal. Why do you always got to find a problem? Well, I got to keep my job. Right? That's right. This is where you got to think, man. You got to think like they do. Because they're just trying to keep their job. Because if they don't, then they got to get all worried up. They can't pay their bills and everything, And, you know, next thing you know, they can't take it, so they're taking the same drugs that they're in there prescribing everybody else, become addicted to them, fucked up in the head. Oh, that's good for us, but not them. Back to that Peterson guy. Have you used your authority to say, yeah, well, no, we shouldn't prescribe that at all, because it fucks people up that bad? No, you don't. You're worried about weed.